All right, today we're going to dive into two really different sides of the AI coin. On one hand, you've got AI that learns kind of like a detective, right? It's piecing together clues from the world around it. But on the other hand, you've got this digital expert, an AI that's basically programmed with all the answers from the get-go. So how do these two totally different approaches actually work? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with a really simple question. You hold your phone up to your face, and poof, it unlocks instantly. How does it do that? What kind of magic is happening inside that little device that lets it know it's you and not, your brother or your best friend? Well, the answer isn't magic at all. It's pattern recognition. See, your phone has learned the unique patterns of your face, the distance between your eyes, the shape of your nose, all that stuff, and it looks for that exact pattern every single time. And honestly, that one idea is the foundation for so much of modern AI. So let's start right there with this foundational building block. Because before an AI can even think about driving a car or diagnosing a disease, it first has to get really, really good at seeing and interpreting patterns in the data we feed it. At its core, pattern recognition is all about one thing: finding repeated structures in data. It's about training a machine to sift through a just massive amount of information. Could be images, text, sounds, whatever, and then make a decision based on what it finds. Just like your phone deciding, yep, that's the right face.
And this doesn't just happen randomly. It follows a super clear process, like a pipeline. First, you got to collect a ton of data. Then you clean it all up. That's pre-processing. After that, you pull out the key features, like the specific curves and edges of your eyes for facial recognition. Then comes the training. That's where the model learns. And finally, it makes a prediction, we see how it did, and the system just keeps getting smarter over time.
A perfect example of this is something you see every single day: your email's spam filter. It's been trained on millions, maybe billions of emails. It's learned to recognize the patterns, the words, the phrases, the weird sender addresses that scream spam. So when an email with "free offer" in all caps lands in your inbox, the system instantly recognizes that pattern and boom, sends it to the junk folder. Okay, so if an AI can recognize patterns in text, what happens when we apply that exact same logic to visual stuff, to pictures and videos? Well, that's how we get AI that can actually see. This is what we call AI vision, and it's an incredibly powerful field where the whole goal is to give machines the ability to understand the world through images, just like we do with our own eyes. And just look at this pipeline for a sec. It should feel pretty familiar, right? It's almost the exact same process we just talked about. But instead of starting with text, we're starting with images. The system grabs an image, cleans it up, pulls out the important features, and then uses pattern recognition to make a decision and take some kind of action. And this is where it gets really cool, because you can see the impact in the real world. An autonomous car isn't just seeing a red octagon. Its AI vision system is recognizing the pattern of a stop sign and making the crucial decision to hit the brakes. It sees pedestrians, it sees lane markings, it sees other cars. It's constantly interpreting all these visual patterns to navigate safely. And it's totally transforming industries too. Think about a factory line. An AI vision system can spot tiny little defects like micro cracks that a human eye would probably miss. It can guide a robotic arm with just incredible precision, working 24/7 to make sure everything is perfect. It's still just pattern recognition, but on a totally superhuman scale. Okay, so far, everything we've talked about is AI that learns from these massive piles of data. But what if you don't have a lot of data? Or what if the problem needs really deep, specialized human knowledge? Well, let's switch gears completely and look at a whole different approach: the coded human expert. So, this is the absolute key difference. AI vision learns from experience, right? It looks at thousands of pictures of stop signs to figure it out. An expert system? Totally different. It doesn't learn that way at all. It's explicitly programmed with rules, like if the shape is an octagon and the color is red, then it is a stop sign. See the difference? So at its heart, that's what an expert system is. It's a branch of AI designed to capture and copy the problem-solving skills of a human expert in one very specific area, whether that's a doctor, a geologist, or a top-tier financial analyst. And yeah, this quote just nails it. Sometimes that human expertise is super rare or really expensive, or maybe it's even at risk of being lost forever when someone retires. Expert systems are basically a way to capture all that valuable knowledge, digitize it, and then make it available to everyone. So how does one of these things actually work? Well, it's got three main parts. You've got the knowledge base. Think of this like the system's giant textbook, just filled with all the facts and if-then rules. Then there's the inference engine, which is the brain of the operation that actually applies those rules. And finally, you've got the user interface, which is just how a regular person talks to the system. Now that brain, the inference engine, it can think in two pretty distinct ways. First, there's what's called forward chaining. That's where you feed it all the facts you know, and it follows the rules forward to see what conclusion it lands on. But then there's backward chaining, which is way more like a detective. It starts with a hypothesis, a potential conclusion, and then it works backward through the rules, looking for facts and evidence to prove if it's true. A classic example of this was a system called Mycin, way back in the 1970s. It was built to help diagnose blood infections. It would start with a hypothesis like, okay, maybe the patient has meningitis, and then it would use backward chaining to ask questions and check symptoms to either confirm or rule out that diagnosis, just like a real doctor would. And the payoff for building something like this is huge. I mean, it goes way beyond just preserving knowledge. We're talking about taking elite, expert-level decision-making and making it consistent, super fast, and accessible to way more people. The potential to save time, save money, and solve tough problems is just enormous. So as we start to wrap this up, it's pretty clear that we're not talking about one single thing called AI. We're really talking about a big toolkit with different tools inside for different kinds of problems.
Let's just put them side by side one last time. On one side, you've got pattern recognition. It learns from data. Its real strength is finding those hidden connections and classifying new things it's never seen before. Then, on the other side, you have expert systems. They run on pre-programmed rules. Their superpower is perfectly copying and scaling up very specific human expertise.
At the end of the day, the biggest thing to remember is this. AI isn't some single magical entity. It's a huge field of computer science with lots of different approaches. And really, understanding AI means understanding which tool is the right one for the job you're trying to do. And that leaves us with a big final question to think about. As the world's problems get more and more complex, are we going to need an AI that can learn from the world with all the flexibility of a human? Or will we need an AI that can reason with the incredible precision and depth of a coded expert? Or maybe the real breakthrough will only come when we figure out how to combine the best of both.